everyone, welcome back to Coffee Talk. We are on our 4th episode. My name is Paige and I'm the registered dietitian for BGSU Dining. And with me today I have a new chef and we're doing things a little different today. Normally we somewhat know our questions ahead of time, but we are blindsiding each other, so I have no idea what he's going to ask me and he has no idea what I'm going to ask him. But I'll let him introduce himself first.
Hello, my name is Chef Jeremy Pogan.
Where do you work on campus, Chef?
I'm the catering chef.
Yeah. All right, and he's one of our newer chefs on campus, so we're breaking him into all of our filming. All right, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Let's see here. We'll start with a fun one. If it was your last day on Earth, where would you want to eat? Or what meal would you want to have?
That's always a tough one, because I get that asked quite a bit.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, for
Your
sure.
last day on Earth?
What would I eat? Yeah, on my last day on Earth, for sure.
Okay.
It's like the most. I want to say
one of
most.
those like icebreaker questions. That
As soon as somebody
chefs.
finds out that you're a chef, that's like one of the instant questions that they ask you, I guess. I would probably want to have Tex-Mex for sure.
Ooh, anything specific?
All of it. I don't know.
Just all of the Tex-Mex.
Yeah, fajitas, tacos, all of it. Yeah, I would probably. I don't know. I mean, I think if I had like a choice of like the last thing I would have, it would probably be like a burrito or something. It would probably be my favorite thing.
Just mix it all together.
But it's also a mixture between a Tex-Mex burrito and a breakfast burrito.
Oh yeah, we talked about how much you love breakfast burritos before.
It's the greatest thing ever.
What do you like to put in your breakfast burritos?
Just eggs, cheddar, and I'd probably go with sausage over bacon. But then also a ton of hot sauce.
Oh, okay. I could get behind that. All right.
Yep. All right.
Oh gosh, I'm nervous.
What is, if any, the best superfood?
The best superfood.
Is there a superfood?
So really the word superfood is, for like marketing. There's not necessarily a specific one or a specific type. But if the first thing I instantly think of is berries. And that's because blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, any kind of berry is super high in antioxidants, which helps fight free radicals, which are cancer-causing cells. So to me, that's like the first thing I think of. If I'm trying to think. No, like avocado is another really good one. People tend to think it's, it has fat, so I shouldn't eat it. But there's so many good omega fatty acids in there that are so good for you. So I'd go berries. Berries or avocado.
With that, acai?
Yeah, that could count.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think in general though, with berries, you get so much more nutrients. Like you get so much out of a bowl of berries than you do some of the other stuff. So,
Right.
So I think, people are scared of fruit because it has carbs, but I think there's so many more benefits to it than there are negatives. So you might as well
I agree.
eat them.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. That was a good one. I wasn't sure what to expect. Okay. What is your favorite cooking utensil or appliance in your house? And then what is something that you think everyone, like your average cook like me, John, Morgan, what do you think we should always have in our kitchen?
So it's a toss-up between a 12-inch cast iron skillet.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but it's essentially a spatula that's sort of curved, and it's kind of more for scraping, but you can also scoop with it in a sense.
Like one that goes like this, like
Yeah.
some demonstrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I forget the technical name
Yeah,
for it.
me either. I don't know if I've ever heard of what it's called, but man, like it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really useful.
Metal or plastic spatulas?
The one I use is wooden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously I would go with plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. something about metal on metal scraping. It's probably not the best idea.
Yeah, it sounds like nails going down a chalkboard. Ugh. All right.
And then I would say like you would want to have a good set of pans. I think is a big thing for somebody to have in their kitchen.
Okay. Any certain type?
Not really. It depends on. Honestly, it depends on how well you're going to take care of them.
Yes, that is a huge thing.
If you are not going to take care of them, then don't spend your money on a nice set of pans.
Right.
Just use it till it's run its course and go buy another.
Right.
But and probably I don't know. Just the all around, just a whisk, a rubber spatula, and a set of tongs. I would say you should have. Like it really bugs me when I go in somebody's kitchen to help them cook or whatever, and they don't have a spatula or a whisk.
I know. Sometimes I've gone to people's kitchens, and like I grew up with a mom who had every cooking utensil. Like we just had drawers filled with cooking utensils. So then when I've gone to other people's houses, and I'm like, you don't even have a like, what do you use? What do you use?
Yeah, I had to deal with that this past weekend. I love you guys. You know who you are, but
get some utensils in your house.
We need to get you guys stocked up for sure.
You should just buy it for them.
I was planning on it. I was this close to just hopping on Amazon at that very moment and buying them a set and then having it just show up.
Anonymous.
Yes.
you can probably guess who gave you these.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Yeah, that's like when I was in college, living in a house. Well, college is a little different. You can't really afford a lot of the stuff to cook with, but. My husband, he bought me a knife set, like a really nice Farberware knife set. And he was like, I noticed that you don't have one of these, and how many times you're using like a butter knife to try and cut things. And it was the most life-changing thing ever, was having a good set of knives.
That is true. That is very important too. But you can totally get away with having a good chef knife.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Just one knife. Like if you have one solid knife, it doesn't even need to be expensive. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure you can probably get one for like $20, maybe even less.
Yeah.
And it will last you
so
a very long
take care
time.
of it. That's the biggest thing, right? Take care of it.
For sure.
All right.
What is the best / worst fad diet?
So you want a best one and a worst one? Okay. Best. Since I've been a dietitian, been in school, I think has been intermittent fasting. And the reason I say that is it is a form of restriction, but I talked about this with either Jill or Austin, that it's kind of, I tell everyone, we've been doing it since the beginning of time of skipping breakfast. And people don't realize that.
Right.
If you eat at 6 o'clock at night and then don't eat till 12 o'clock the next day because you skip breakfast, that's kind of a form of intermittent fasting. You just probably don't realize you're doing it. But I think it's a little bit of a healthier way to look at it because you're not necessarily restricting certain foods. You're not taking supplements. You're not doing anything crazy. All you're really doing is limiting the time frame that you're eating. And I think for some people that's beneficial because maybe they tend to overeat in certain times of the day, or they're eating when they're not hungry, so having a set time frame is really good for them. So I think there's, knock on wood, the least amount of damage from intermittent fasting. The worst, oh Lord, I have a whole list on my computer of weird ones that people have told me. I've had someone tell me that they did an all Jell-O diet, which I hate Jell-O. I think Jell-O is the worst thing ever.
What would be the benefits?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I think that, and probably, oh gosh. I mean, that's not a common one though. I think it's not a specific diet, but more so the people that fall into the marketing schemes that are out there. So I was talking about this last week. I had a friend that bought some products that were called Skinny Bunny, and they were taking them to lose weight, and then they started not feeling good, and then they went online, and all of a sudden it like disappeared off the internet. So I think that's the biggest thing, is like just supplement fad diets, where people try to replace something with a shake and they have no idea what they're putting into their body. Then they end up feeling miserable, and then, but yeah. So I think that would be I would rather you like follow a keto diet because that's what you want to do than find out that you're taking unregulated supplements.
I mean, we talked about it before, but the carnivore.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, that's kind of like the keto diet. You're just eating protein and some fat.
But even more stricter, right?
But what?
Even more stricter?
Yeah.
Or more...
More strict, yeah.
More... you're focused more on, not necessarily fats, but just straight.
Right. It's kind of like paleo, but even more strict.
Yeah.
So, really, you're just eating like meat. And I forget, did you say eggs count in that?
You're allowed to. But from what I've read and understood, as you're basically just supposed to eat ribeyes.
So like no breakfast burritos, right? So
no.
But yeah, I would not recommend that. And plus, a lot of times, if you restrict that to only eating meat, when you do end up eating carbs, or even if it's just fruit or something, you're probably going to overeat it so much because you've restricted for so long.
I have heard that. I heard once so-and-so is on this carnivore diet and they have a taste of pasta.
Yeah, they're like,
it's game over.
Yeah, I'm never going back. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest concern when it comes to that kind of stuff, for sure. So yeah, like I said, I need to get my list out of weird ones that people have told me that they've had. Okay, if you weren't in higher education right now, where would you want to work?
In the food industry?
Yeah, as a chef.
As a chef?
Or you can do one as a chef, one as not a chef.
I would love to go work at Ford Field.
Ah, okay.
Huge Lions fan. So I think...
Would you be like the players' chef?
Yeah, I think that would be even cooler. I mean, I would love to do all around, do the catering for the boxes and...
Oh, that'd be cool. And then you could watch the games for free.
Whatever events they have, and then, but yeah, to also then kind of be to cook for the players would be really cool.
Cool. So what's your non-chef job?
I have no idea.
You don't have what you were just
No.
Well, you make music, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe something with that?
No.
That's just for fun. That's
yeah, totally. No, okay. I have tons of friends that are, they're professional musicians. And, everyone sees them up playing Friday nights or over the weekends and stuff like that. And but literally they know they're grinding all week long, playing at this bar or that bar or this bar, for, next to nobody. And they have to, because if they don't work those little gigs, then they're not going to have the money to live.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
that would be tough.
They're always grinding. They love it. That's their passion. That's what they want to do. But it's hard.
Okay.
But no, I don't know. I enjoy it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Just having fun. But I have no idea it's never, I don't think it's ever really crossed my mind to do something else for a living.
That's a good thing, though.
Or I've never been, you know what I mean? I can obviously go get a job. Anyone can just go get a job. Yeah. But to be passionate about something, it's, for sure.
Cool.
If you could only eat one vegetable for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I love vegetables. I don't think there's a single vegetable I don't like. I don't know that anyone's ever asked me that. We've done meats and stuff like that. Oh, this might be surprising. Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts, and I feel like you can do so many different things with them. You can do pretty much anything with any vegetable. Be a tie between that and broccoli, but if I had to choose, Brussels sprouts. What about you?
I think I would go with broccoli.
Would you?
I think so. Probably either broccoli or asparagus.
That was another one up there on my list. I was like, ooh, asparagus.
I was kind of thinking maybe cauliflower too.
You can do so much with cauliflower.
But is like cauliflower really that nutritious in the sense of like the only vegetable you could ever eat?
Probably not.
Right.
You're probably going to get better from green vegetables.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because like you could totally make like rice and I mean you could do that with broccoli too, I guess. But I always found that cauliflower rice is better.
Yeah.
And like do like cauliflower gratins and.
Now I just want to go eat Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
I think like balsamic Brussels sprouts are probably one of my favorite. Like roasted and then with a balsamic on them. Made them for my family for Thanksgiving because apparently no one in my family's ever ate Brussels sprouts. They were mind blown that they could actually taste good. Don't ask. They're like meat and potatoes kind of people. They don't expand much. Yeah.
Which is funny because they've been so popular for like the last, I don't know, 6-7 years.
Right.
Like super popular.
They always wait for me to introduce like the wild thing. Like I introduced them to avocado and they were mind blown that because they don't like it by itself, but I put it into a salsa and they were like, oh, this is really good. And I was like, funny how if you try it with different things, it can taste good. Okay. What is your go-to lazy meal when you don't feel like cooking? So like Austin said, he'll eat a box of Cheez-Its. Marissa said she'll make like nachos really simple. I think Jill said chicken wings.
Well, probably has to be a breakfast burrito.
That's going to be your answer. I need your breakfast burrito recipe. If you love it.
There is no, that's why it's so great. Like, anybody
no.
can make it and it's like pizza. There's not a bad pizza.
I've had a bad pizza.
You've had a bad pizza?
Yeah.
What was so bad about it?
It had no flavor. Like, okay, it was one that someone homemade, and they like did not do it. Yeah.
What'd they do?
There's no flavor in the crust. It was like burnt, and then It's one of those, the Worst Cooks in America show.
Yeah.
It like should have been on there.
Okay.
So.
Well.
But other than that, no. Most pizzas are good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Breakfast burrito. I can get behind that.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you have like a favorite snack that you could eat a whole bag of, like Austin and his Cheez-Its?
Probably Flaming Hot Cheetos. I love spicy, so.
Okay. I had 2 coworkers once that decided they were going to have a contest to see who could eat the most Flaming Hot Cheetos, but you couldn't drink water. And so they were like counting the number of Cheetos, and I think the one girl got up to like 50 some, and then she was just sweating and crying and had to call it off. It sounded terrible. I couldn't do it. All right.
How much water is too much water, and what is the best alternative?
Ooh, so I talked about this one, and 64 ounces is the standard, 8 cups of water a day. But for someone who's taller, bigger, anything like that, you're probably going to need more. Someone who's super, super small may not need as much. But that's just the standard. That doesn't include being out in, the heat, sweating, working out, being active. So I tell everyone, go by the color of your urine, which sounds weird. But when you go to the bathroom, you don't want it to be bright yellow. Or especially not dark yellow, and you want it to be kind of like a pale yellow, a little clear. And then too much water is if you have completely clear urine and you're going all the time. That is not good. You can't overhydrate yourself. And so I would definitely recommend go by the color of your urine. And then my husband's famous phrase when he coaches football is, if it's stinky, you need drinky. So if your urine smells, it's a sign of dehydration. And that's a way to get high school kids to remember it. So yeah, that's what we tell them is if it stinks, you need to drink. So yeah, and then a good alternative, are you talking I guess, what are you talking when you mean that? Like if you're going to drink something other than water?
If you, let's say you can't get any water,
Okay.
what would be the best alternative?
Definitely not pop. I always tell people if they don't like to drink water, infuse it with fruit or something. But then if we're talking, you can't get water, I would probably say like a Powerade kind of drink, just because it has electrolytes in it. And it does have a water base. Probably go for like one of the zero ones that doesn't have all the sugar. That would probably be my next suggestion, because most everything else is just filled with sugar and really doesn't have water in it.
Right.
So I would say that, or it's like LaCroix. How do you?
LaCroix?
LaCroix. I hear everyone say it differently. Something like that could be an alternative, but it's carbonated, so it depends on how well you handle that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say a sports drink that's not sugar-based. All right. I think this is my last question. Yeah. So what do you think is the most important culinary skill for an average person to have?
Ooh. A culinary skill would probably have to be knife. Being able to cut things properly. Obviously, one for safety and two for cooking application for
Okay.
sure. I would say it's not necessarily culinary, but is probably one of the most important skills is timing.
Ooh, okay. That's a new one.
For sure, without a doubt. Which would start with with prepping, being prepared. I mean, the best way I would think to learn or to start with that would be with baking.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
To get all your ingredients measured and with you before you start.
So your mise en place.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how many times everybody, sees a recipe, just jumps right into it, and you don't have that one
And then
ingredient.
you go to the neighbor's house and you're like,
Yeah.
do you have a cup of sugar?
Exactly.
I don't know if anyone does that anymore.
Yeah.
I remember my mom would call her neighbor and be like, do you have any vanilla?
But yeah, for sure, timing, preparation, and then if anything, learn how to use a knife right.
Yeah, that's very important. I witnessed my husband, our knives needed sharpened, so instead of sharpening the knife, he decided he was just gonna power through and cut these potatoes.
Yeah.
I walked in the kitchen and he was like using a meat cleaver to cut this potato. I don't even know what was happening, and it gave me so much anxiety, and I was gonna go do it, and he was like, no, just let me cook for you. And I was like, oh, it's the thought that counts. And then I was like, I can't watch you do this because you're gonna go to the emergency room by the end of the night.
Yeah, it's either potatoes or carrots.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two of the ones that normally get people.
I feel like they're already hard to cut, so if you don't have a sharpened good knife or you don't know what you're doing,
yeah,
that's how you're gonna get yourself.
For sure. Yeah, I've seen some pretty gnarly cuts from, carrots or potatoes, for sure.
Oh. All right, and then one more, I think.
Is it more important to count calories or to count macros?
Ooh. I personally think macros, and the reason I say that is as a society, we tend to overeat carbs, and a lot of us don't realize what foods have carbs in them. And so if you start tracking your macros, you'll realize, oh my gosh, I'm eating 70% carbs and I don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So I think that's super important, because on the other end, we also normally don't get enough protein, which is super important for muscle repair, just general functioning. And then we tend to have a stigma against fat, right? So we tend to think that fat's bad for you, but it's not. It depends on what kind of fat you're getting. Fat from a candy bar compared to fat from olive oil and an avocado are two totally different things. So I think it's more important for macros. If you're trying to lose weight, probably just calories, because calories in and out. Definitely still look at your macros, but It kind of depends on what your purpose is behind it, but if you're just generally trying to eat a healthy diet, I would say look at your macros.
With that being said, so what is your gauge for protein? What is too much or too little?
So it's weird because I came from, did my whole internship to be a dietitian was clinical. So I was at West Virginia University Medicine. And in clinical side, you do grams per kilogram of body weight. So we actually gauge it on that. And that usually ends up being so much more than what the normal recommendation is. Typically, it's about like 25% of your calories should be protein. So, oh man, I'm not good at quick math. But yeah, it's usually about 25%-ish is protein, 45 to 65% is carbs. But I say if you're on the high end of 65, you're probably an athlete or someone who's really burning energy. And then fat is usually like around 30-ish%. So yeah, does that kind of answer your question?
Sort of.
What was the question again? I went on a tangent about how much protein is too much protein?
Yeah, like from what I've always read and heard is like if you want to build muscle, you should go, is it 1.5 grams?
Per kilogram body weight?
Is it, I always heard just, was it, no, 1.5 grams per pound.
Per pound?
Yeah, I thought.
That's a lot. It might have been per kilogram. It's hard to tell. But yeah, usually what I tell people is, the more protein you can get in, usually the better because we normally don't consume enough. But also depends on where you're getting it from. So are you drinking protein supplements or are you eating a chicken breast? Because you're probably going to get more branched chain amino acids from a chicken breast than you actually will a protein supplement.
What if you add BCAAs to it?
Then you're probably going to get enough. But also that gets way more expensive than if you just cook yourself protein.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so, what I tell everyone is, if you're just going to sit down and eat a whole thing of protein, you're not going to digest that very well. Like your body's not going to burn all of that. You're still going to possibly store some.
Right.
So it's better if you want to get in a lot of protein to space it out throughout the day, and then it won't matter as much, I guess, if you're eating a lot of it because you're going to digest it throughout the day instead of, oh my gosh, all this protein at breakfast and then like all this protein at lunch kind of thing.
Is there a better time to consume protein?
So
in the sense of like as soon as you get done working out.
Right. It's better to consume it after.
Right.
Yes. So I tell everyone 30 to 45 minutes after you work out, get something in you, whether it's a snack, definitely water. But if you are going to do supplements, be smart about it. But that's when you could drink that. I would say, though, a lot of people tend to think that you should have protein before you work out, which is actually the opposite. You need carbs because carbs burn fast. They help you get your energy. So it's more important to eat protein after.
I've always,
And I don't know
right before you go work out, even half hour, 45 minutes before, like you
I don't know anyone that feels
eat.
good. Yeah. I don't know anyone that feels good that's like, I'm going to eat a steak. All right, let's go run.
Man.
Like, no one, if you can do that, I'm very amazed because, and it's funny, looking back, I ran track in high school. I was not good at all, but I was a distance runner and I always thought, that you should eat protein before because everything was protein. And then I was a horrible runner. And now that I know what I know and I do what I do, I think back and I'm like, I wonder how much better I would have performed if I would have ate carbs and not, protein bars or a peanut butter sandwich, that it's very common to be told those things as an athlete when you're young, that's how you should do things. And it's actually the complete opposite.
Right. So with that being said, there's another but another thing I read or heard that you should eat candy after you work out.
What kind of candy?
Like straight up, like gummy worms, gummy bears.
I would not recommend that. Then what was the purpose behind it?
To replenish your glycogen levels. I think, right?
I mean, the only time I'd recommend that is if you're diabetic and you're hitting a low to get fast sugar in you. So that's why a lot of times people who are diabetic may have like glucose tablets or a bag of Skittles on them, things like that, to bring them up really fast. So it could bring you up really fast because you're just eating sugar, which is a carb, right? So, but I would not recommend doing that daily. It'd be better to sit there and eat a bowl of fruit or eat an apple or a banana. If you want those carbs in you. If you're a milk drinker, drink a glass of milk that has carbohydrates in it. Yeah, I would not recommend doing that. Plus, I feel like that would feel so defeating. I just had this great workout, now I'm going to go eat a bag of Skittles or gummy worms or whatever it is.
Yeah, Dr. Jim Stepani.
I feel like I've heard of him. I'll have to look him up.
Oh, you can't miss him. You can't miss him. He is one interesting dude.
Is he like a Dr. Oz?
No, he's a real doctor.
Oh.
He's legit. Or, I mean, Dr. Oz is, but I'm saying, like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, he's literally covered in tattoos.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check him out. Yeah. And, I never like to completely like hate on a diet or an idea.
I don't think, he's not saying like eat an entire bag of candy.
I think, people, what I tell everyone is use your best judgment, use your best educated guess. People are still going to do what they want to do because food is something that people can easily control. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a medicine I think food is medicine, but if you're going to, in the sense of like what you feed your body, blah, 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 I'm not going to get all, on you. But I think because people feel like that's something they can easily control, that's why they experiment so much with it, and they may be more willing to do some gummy worms or something. And if that's what they want to do, all the more power to them. If they truly feel better, then good. I'm glad. But yeah, everyone knows their own body. They'll know how they feel after they eat that kind of stuff.
For sure.
So yeah. All right. Well, I think that concludes our coffee talk. Thanks for joining us. And if you have any questions you want us to discuss, any specific questions for Jeremy or myself, please reach out or comment below, and we would love to answer them for you in our next video. Thanks.